Hey, what's going on everyone? Entering Infinity here. Today I'm back with a brand new video to rank Ash and Leon's Pokemon in their Masters 8 tournament final battle. I had a lot of fun doing this when Ash battled Cynthia and I made videos ranking their squad, so I figured let's do it again now that Ash and Leon have finished up their final battle. So I just want to preface this video by saying that these rankings are not based on how strong the actual Pokemon is, but it's based on their actual contribution in this specific match. So for example, Leon's Charizard is obviously his strongest Pokemon, but based on its contribution to the battle, it may not be in the number one spot. And the way I did this is with the following template that you see on the screen, where I have KOs and assists. So assists are when a Pokemon inflicts damage onto another Pokemon, but doesn't end up getting the KO, and another Pokemon ends up getting the KO, and KOs are the ones that actually pick up the finishing blow on the opposing Pokemon. So once I tally that up, I put them in here, and then I make certain judgment calls as to where I think the Pokemon rank, and I start from number 6 and I'll talk my way up to the number 1 being the best Pokemon for each respective team. I'm going to start with Leon's team first, and then we'll do Ash's team. And I just want to preface this video by saying that this does contain spoilers for the finale between Ash and Leon, so if you did not watch that yet, please click away from this video now, or if you don't care and you're ready to go, let's jump into it. Alrighty, so let's get started. So with Leon, we have coming in at number 6, the big shocker, yes, is Charizard. So Leon gambled and waited till the very end to use his Charizard, and ultimately it did not pay off for him. Charizard picked up no assists because it only battled Pikachu, and Pikachu was never ultimately knocked out, which means it also didn't pick up any KOs. So without any KOs or any assists in this battle, that makes me have to put Charizard at number 6, again, just for the contribution in this battle. Alright, so coming in at number 5 is Inteleon. So Inteleon didn't actually pick up any KOs, but it did inflict massive damage onto the Gengar, so it picks up an assist for the Gengar. So, and without any KOs and only just the one assist, I couldn't justify it any higher, so it gets the number 5 slot pretty comfortably. Coming in at number 4 is Leon's Cinderace. So Cinderace picked up the KO against Ash's Dracovish, but ultimately didn't deal any damage to any other Pokemon that were knocked out. It did some damage to Pikachu, but since Pikachu was never knocked out, it doesn't get an assist for that. So with only picking up one KO, I think it gets the 4th slot also pretty comfortably. Coming in at number 3 is Mr. Rhyme. Mr. Rhyme was an absolute menace for Ash's team to deal with. It picked up a knockout onto Ash's Gengar, and it dealt damage to both Sirfetch'd and Mega Lucario, earning itself the number 3 slot. It's tied with the 2nd place spot in terms of KOs and assists, but given the rank of the Pokemon on Ash's team, that's what gave the other Pokemon the edge for the number 2 slot, so that's why I gave Mr. Rhyme the number 3 slot. And coming in at number 2 is Leon's Dragapult, and Dragapult picked up a KO against Mega Lucario, as well as assisting with Ash's Dracovish and Ash's Dragonite. So that's what gave it ultimately the edge over the Mr. Rhyme, is the fact that it KO'd a Mega Pokemon, as well as assisted with some of Ash's strongest Pokemon in terms of his rankings, so that's what earned it the number 2 spot over Mr. Rhyme. Dragapult was absolutely fantastic for Leon. His strategy was unbelievable with the Dragon Tail and just dealing damage and knocking out Ash's Pokemon and switching in a new one just to keep doing that and chipping away at them. It was a really brilliant strategy that was very well executed, and that's what ultimately earned Dragapult the number 2 slot. And coming in at number 1 is Leon's Rillaboom. So Rillaboom has been an absolute boss this entire Masters 8 tournament. He almost soloed Diantha's team. He put in work against Alon, and he put in work once again against Ash, picking up KOs against both Dragonite, despite the type disadvantage, and Ash's Sirfetch'd, as well as getting an assist on Ash's Dracovish. So being the only Pokemon on Leon's team to pick up 2 KOs and also assisting with one of Ash's highest ranked Pokemon, that's what easily earned Rillaboom the number 1 slot. So yeah, these are my rankings for Leon's team for their contribution in this battle. If you would have put them in any different order, please let me know down below, but let's all be respectful. We all have our different opinions. This is just the method of how I'm going about it. Alright, so switching over to Ash's team, coming in at number 6, we have Gengar. So Gengar picked up 1 KO against Leon's Inteleon, and it picked up no assist because it didn't actually inflict any damage onto the Mr. Rhyme. Mr. Rhyme had blocked the Sludge Bomb that it used, and it never actually got any hits against it, so that's why it doesn't get an assist. And the reason why it comes in at number 6 is because because it only got 1 KO, and it had to use one of Ash's gimmicks in Gigantamax in order just to pick up the 1 KO against a base form Inteleon. So ultimately, Ash didn't really get a whole lot of bang for his buck with that gimmick, and that's what kind of earns Gengar the number 6 spot for me. Coming in at number 5 is Ash's Sirfetch'd. So Sirfetch'd didn't actually pick up any KOs, however it did get 2 pretty big assists, helping out big with Leon's Mr. Rhyme as well as Leon's Rillaboom. So those are some of Leon's highest ranked Pokemon on his team, but given that it didn't get any KOs, I couldn't really justify it any higher. You know, you can make some arguments for some different places here, and I know it did a lot for what it did, and it always gives 150%, which I love, but I think the number 5 spot is appropriate for Sirfetch'd. Coming in at number 4 is Mega Lucario. So Mega Lucario picked up 1 KO against Leon's Mr. Rhyme, as well as getting an assist on Leon's Dragapult because it dealt it some damage. And I think this is probably the most shocking one out of all of them for Ash's team. I think after the semifinal battle against Cynthia, a lot of people had very high expectations and hopes for Ash's Mega Lucario, but it really kind of fell short and, you know, didn't really do too much in this battle. It managed to finish off of Mr. Rhyme and deal a little bit of damage to the Dragapult before ultimately getting taken down, so that's why I have it in at the number 4 slot, and I couldn't really justify it any higher because it didn't really accomplish any bigger feats than the other Pokemon that weren't even using any gimmicks. So the fact that it used a gimmick to only get 1 KO and 1 assist isn't really that great, and ultimately underperformed, and that's why I gave it the number 4 spot. Coming in at number 3, which I'm much happier to see than last time, is Ash's Dragonite. Dragonite got 1 KO against Leon's Dragapult, as well as an assist against Leon's Rillaboom, so those are like his top 2 Pokemon that I had ranked, so that's why Dragonite earned the number 3 spot. You know, I've been waiting a long time for Ash's Dragonite to redeem itself after the writers kept, you know, I felt like embarrassing it over and over again, especially after the showing in the match against Cynthia, which was unforgivable, but Dragonite really came to bat here for Ash, and, you know, she put in a ton of work by taking down Leon's Dragapult, which was an absolute nightmare for Ash, and, you know, dealing some valuable hurricane damage onto Leon's Rillaboom, which was his number 1 Pokemon. So, you know, really happy with the way Ash's Dragonite performed. I would have loved to see it take out the Rillaboom as well, but I'll have to settle with this and getting the number 3 spot. Coming in at number 2 is Ash's Dracovish, which is a big surprise. Dracovish picked up 1 KO against Leon's Rillaboom, as well as picking up an assist against Leon's Dragapult. And the reason why this earned the number 2 spot over Dragonite is because it picked up a KO against what I had as Leon's number 1 ranked Pokemon versus Dragonite picking up the KO against the number 2 Pokemon. So they're just inverted, but given that Rillaboom was number 1, that's what gave Dracovish the edge by picking up the KO against that mon. So Dracovish was an absolute monster for Ash. It learned that crazy new technique. I don't even think we know what that was. Some people thought it was Psychic Fangs, other people were saying it was something else. Those dragon red spikes, it was crazy, and you know, helped Dracovish, you know, pop off in this final, so it earned itself the number 2 spot for Ash. And coming in at number 1 is no surprise, but Ash's Pikachu. Ash's Pikachu just totally leveled up to a whole new level this battle. It took out a fully healthy Cinderace as well as a fully healthy Charizard, which is probably the most broken Pokemon we've ever seen in this anime. Despite getting no assists, just by taking out those 2 on his own was just an absolute feat that, you know, we've never seen anything like that before. Pikachu took enough damage in this battle to get knocked out like 5 times over, still kept going, you know, put its life on the line there, and, you know, just gave it 1,000% and just like went God mode and just totally popped off and won the Masters 8 tournament for Ash and making him the world champion. So you really can't argue for anyone else other than Pikachu for this one. So yeah, these are my rankings. I'm curious what everybody else thinks. Would you change anything else compared to what I did, or you think that the way I did it was pretty good? If you stayed till the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed the video, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.